Good morning, students of class 8. Welcome to our English period. So let us continue discussing the answers of question number 6 on page number 43 of our English literature textbook. So here's the sentence: we prefer buying imported things. So prefer is a finite verb. Why? Because it is completely dependent upon tense over here in this sentence. Okay. Therefore, it is a finite verb. Buying is a non-finite verb. It is a participle. It doesn't change with respect to subject or tense. Therefore, it is a non-finite verb. And what kind of a non-finite verb is this? It is a participle. Present participle because it ends with ing. Indians never try to force their way of life on others. What is underlined here? To force. To force remains the same no matter what the subject or the tense is. So, what kind of a verb is this? It is a non-finite verb. And what is the category? What type of a non-finite verb is this? This is an infinitive. Why? Because it is to force. What is the preposition used here before the verb? It is to. So this verb doesn't change with respect to subject or tense. And it is an infinitive. Having invaded India, they captured our land. What is the verb here? Underlined verb, it is captured. What kind of a verb is this? It is a finite verb. Why? Because it is ending with ed. That means it changes with respect to subject or tense. Isn't it? Oh, sorry. It is here changing with respect to tense. Therefore, it is ed. It is in past tense. Fine. So, the verb that changes with respect to subject or tense is a finite verb. Fine. However, children, let me just draw your attention. There is one more finite verb which is not underlined. Okay. So, it is what? It is invaded. It is a finite verb. So, if we see two finite verbs in a given sentence, that means there are two clauses. Fine. So, this is invaded. You can just write down for your kind of information. You can just underline this word and mention it as finite verb. And what is this? This is a participle. So, this is a non-finite verb. Just underline and write down non-finite verb. What kind of a non-finite verb is this? This is a participle. This is just for your reference. However, in paper, if you see a sentence where only one verb is underlined, so stick to the question only. So, answer to only the underlined verb. Fine. Now, the next question is question number 7, phrases and clauses. Children, we have learned what a phrase is in our primary classes. So, let me just tell you the definition of a phrase. What is it? It is a group of words that makes some sense but not a complete sense. That is a phrase. For example, here, made of cotton. It makes some sense, but does it make complete sense? No. Hence, it is a phrase. Now, what is a clause? It is a small sentence in a given big sentence. So, what is the requirement of a sentence? It is a subject, verb, object. Most preferably, it is the verb. Which kind of a verb? It is the finite verb. Okay. So, that should be there in the clause as well. Only then the small sentence will be called as a clause in the given big sentence. Right? For example, so let us take a look at this. He wore a shirt made of cotton. So, this is a phrase, made of cotton. So, what is the major difference between a phrase and a clause? A phrase will never have a verb. It will never have any kind of finite verb. Fine. So, this is a phrase. Now, how is it change into a clause? Let us see. He wore a shirt remains the same, isn't it? Which was made of cotton. Which was made of cotton. It is describing, right? How is the shirt? The shirt has been described. What is the description given? It is which was made of cotton. Fine. So, which was made of cotton. Does it not have a finite verb here? Yes. What is it? It is was. Was over here is the finite verb. So, this is the clause. Which was made of cotton is a clause. Fine. Of course, even this is a clause. He wore a shirt. We have studied about the main clause and the subordinate clause. So, this is the main clause. He wore a shirt. Makes complete sense. Therefore, it is a main clause. Which was made of cotton, which does not make complete sense. Isn't it? This clause needs the help of this clause so that we understand its meaning completely. Hence, this is a subordinating clause. Fine. So, but we are going to, so this is a clause. Okay. There are two clauses formed, right? One is the main clause and the other is the subordinate clause. I hope you have understood this. How is a phrase changed into a clause? Made of cotton is a phrase. How is it changed into a clause? Which was made of cotton. So what was the thing that was included? It was a verb. What kind of a verb? A finite verb. And what is it here? It is was, right? Are you sure of your innocence? This is a question. Of your innocence is underlined. And then you are supposed to, so this is a phrase. Of your innocence is a phrase. So how is that made into a clause? Are you sure that you are innocent? That you are innocent. This is a clause. What kind of a clause is this? This is a subordinate clause. Fine. This is the exact reason for his failure. So what is the underlined part? For his failure. This is a phrase. Is there a finite verb here? No. Hence, it is a phrase. This is a group of words which makes some sense but not a complete sense. Now, when will it make complete sense? When it is changed into a clause. And how? Let us see. This is exactly why he has failed. Right? So, for his failure is a phrase, and after converting it into a clause, this is how it becomes. Why he has failed. There is a subject also and a verb also. Which kind of a verb? A finite verb. So what is the subject here in this particular clause? He. And what is the finite verb? Has. Fine. Now this is another clause formed. This is exactly. This is exactly. Okay. Now next. Pay careful attention to my words. What is the underlined part? My words. So let us see how this is. So this is a phrase. Now how have they made it into a clause? Pay careful attention to what I say. Fine. What I say. So this is the clause. What is the subject here? I. What is the finite verb here? Say. Now, in the next sentence, after finishing his work, he went home. He finished his work. What is the underlined part? After finishing his work is the phrase. This is the phrase. Okay. After finishing his work is a phrase. Why is it a phrase? Because there is no finite verb here. We can see the participle. Participle verb here is, what is the participle here? It is finishing. But it is not a finite verb. We must stick to the finite verb. If we call it a sentence or a clause, it should contain or it should consist of a finite verb. So in this part of the sentence, we do not find any finite verb. So this is a phrase. So how is this changed into a clause? He finished his work. Fine. After finishing his work. So how has it been changed into a clause? He finished his work. So what has happened? We have changed this finishing into finished. By doing so, this finish becomes the finite verb. I hope you have understood. And therefore, this is a clause then. And he went home. Again, this is a clause. He went home. What is the subject here? He. What is the finite verb here? Went. Fine. So there are two clauses formed in this sentence, and because they are joined together by the conjunction and, they are the example of compound sentence. This particular given sentence is an example of a compound sentence where we see two or more than two clauses. So in this sentence we see two clauses formed, and both the clauses, but both the clauses are main clauses. Fine, we do not see any subordinate clause. So I hope you have understood phrases and clauses with the given exercise or the question. So see you in the next session. Till then, goodbye.